Hi there! I promised you there will be another lesson about must and have to, so modal verbs that help us express obligation. And here it is, voila, a lesson about obligation. Okay, good. So, you must study a lot, or you have to study a lot. That's complicated. No, it's not. Okay, both must and have to express obligations, okay? There are very small, tiny details between them. But above all, okay, no panicking. It's not a big mistake, all right, if you get them confused, because they basically mean the same thing. Everybody's going to understand it. I'm going to understand it. Your, person you meet in London will understand it. And Donald Trump will probably understand it. So don't worry about it, okay? But just so that we kind of get it sorted out in our head. If you have in front of you a set of written rules, okay, instructions that will be written somewhere, you may find you must deliver this, you must wear the pen, you must wear that, okay? Because when there are written instructions, we very frequently use must. We also use must when we express our feelings, okay? I must go. I feel so sorry, but I must go. It's Maria's birthday. I must remember to buy her a present, okay? There is also a way to use must just to give orders to people. You must come means I require you to come. You are obliged to come. Okay? But what if I am not the person who is obliging you to come? If it's somehow external, if it comes from some sort of external authority, or if it's impersonal. You know, it's a great party, you have to come. Means you are obliged, but not by me, okay? Or there is a law. You have to wear a seatbelt when you drive. It's not me, you just have to do it, okay? It's a bit different with, just to write 300 emails while teaching. Okay, it's a bit different with negatives, but we'll get there in a second, okay? So, have to is more impersonal, okay? It expresses general obligations. Sometimes we use it to say, well, there is a law that says, okay? Or something that's a general obligation. It's not a feeling I have. I have to brush my teeth. I have to eat. Okay, but it's not really a problem if you say I must eat. Okay, where this really turns serious is when we create negatives or when we move the whole thing, the whole obligation thing, to the past. Okay, so first, what happens in negatives? Have a look at this sentence. I have to go to see my granny. I have to go to see my granny. It's sort of an obligation. What happens if I say I don't have to go to see my granny? Aha! It means that there is no necessity for me to go, that it's not necessary, okay? Because don't have to, so the negative of have to, expresses lack of obligation. Whereas, have a look at this. You must talk to the driver while you're driving. While he's driving, sorry. You must talk to the driver. It's an obligation. You have to talk to the driver. You must talk to the driver. Okay, that's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Let's turn it into a negative. You mustn't talk to the driver. Which means, you're right. It means don't do it. Okay, there is a prohibition. Don't do this. Okay? It's not legal. Don't do it. Okay, so the only way we have to express that something is forbidden, okay, so don't do it, is with mustn't. Because if we say don't have to, we are creating a sentence that says it's not necessary. Chill, okay? All right. What happens with must and have to in the past? When we're talking about obligation, okay, remember it's obligation only. We're not talking about making suggestions or logical deduction. Forget about it, okay? Logical deduction, by the way, is my next lesson. Okay. When we're talking about obligation, it is important to understand that must has no past. It rhymes. Must has no past. If you want to use must in the past, you have to use have to. It's very easy to memorize. To use must in the past, you have to use have to. The only one of these two babies that functions in the past. So when you want to talk about past obligations, the only option you have is to say, I had to do this, which means in the past, I was obliged to do this. Okay? When I was a child, I had to go to bed early because my parents believed it was healthy for me to sleep a lot. Now I want to sleep a lot, but there's nobody who tells me that I must. Okay? So in the past, I had to. I cannot say must in the past because it doesn't form it. Okay? Must have done, must have seen exists. You remember we spoke about giving very strong suggestions with must, but in the past it has a different meaning. Okay? If you want to find out which one, just watch the next lesson. Okay? We're going to talk about Sherlock Holmes modal verbs. Super cool. Sherlock Holmes modal verbs. Are you ready? Okay. So from this one, very short video, there's a couple of things you need to remember. We have two modal verbs to express obligation. Must expresses how you feel about something, right? It also expresses what's written in instructions. Have to expresses general, sort of impersonal obligation, okay? They behave differently in the negative. Mustn't means it's prohibited, it's illegal, it's forbidden, don't do it. Don't have to means it's not necessary. You don't need to do it, okay? And there is no must in the past, okay? To use must in the past, you have to use have to. So I had to walk out with my dog when I had one. Now I don't. Okay, that's not true. I have a dog. You will meet her. Okay, so I hope you remember everything. Make sure you write a couple of sentences with must and have to. And hey, why not? Just write them in the comment below. Okay? I'll make sure I check them. Big kiss, big hug, and watch the next one if you want to learn about the Sherlock Holmes modal verbs. Okay? Bye.